another day in lockdown and another kit build. Let's have a look, see what we've got here. Okay, so we've got main circuit board here. It's got a timer on it, it's got a counter chip on it, so this is some sort of flashing or pattern or something. On there we've got this package here, which has got red LEDs in it, so it looks like we just got red LEDs on there. This one could be white, I suppose. Yeah, they must be white LEDs. And this one looks like green LEDs. So we've got 3 separate circuit boards with LEDs on it. Now this must be the way it connects up with the cables. So all these components here must go on the main board here. So we've got quite a few diodes. So we've got all the diodes there. Oops, we've got the connections here. A couple of resistors, variable resistors. That must be timing. There's the 2 ICs. That'll be the timer. That'll be the counter. Okay, so I'm guessing that this is some sort of flashing circuit on these 3 boards here. Looking at the notes, I bought it from Banggood. It's called a Strobe, so it's a strobe circuit. So I think build it up and let's see what it does. I think what we'll do first, we'll have a look at the main circuit board first. Right, so this is the main board. We've got, see, diodes down there, got connections, got 3 transistors. They all look the same, 8050. We've got 1, 2, 3 resistors there, which are 10k. Another diode up there, and some 2k resistors, and a capacitor, and there's the timer and the IC. So that's not too bad. The reverse side looks fairly good, so it's just a single-sided board. Okay, shall we build it? Right, we've got the circuit board mounted. So I think the first thing we'll do is the diodes. So here's the diodes. You'll see that they have a black line on them. And that black line is the same side as this extra line on here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because I think there's one more diode. Yeah, there's one more diode up there. So that's the 8. So just bending the pins like I normally do. Just turned on the light so it's gone a bit brighter. Okay, you get the general gist. Come back to me in a minute when I've got these in. Right, that's got all the diodes down here in place, and I've just bent all the legs to one side just to hold them in place so we can get them soldered up. So we're going to do this last diode here, but one thing I've noticed is that the image of the diode has the leg finishing here, but actually the hole is just to the left hand side of it, so the diode goes at an angle across there, So it's going sort of across here, and I'm guessing they've done that because there's this hole there. So let's put that in place now as well. Okay, so that's got that one in place. So now we need to solder it up. Okay, so that's got all the diodes in place, and the next thing we're going to do is the 3 transistors. Now they're all the same, which is okay. So just as before, the transistors have a flat and a round, and they match up to the image on the board. So the flat in this case goes to our left and the round goes to the right. So we'll just put that one in there like that, and pick up the next one. It's got a few bent legs, but that should be alright. Let's just straighten that middle leg out a little bit. There we go. There's that one, and then the last one. There we go, and we can solder them in place now as well. There we go, it's got them done. Okay, right, let's have a quick look at the resistors. So we've got 3 10k and 2 2k. Now, not being particularly fantastic on these because I'm colourblind, I think we will get the help of the resistor tester out. Right, that's 2k. Right, okay, so there we go. We've got the 3 10Ks there and the 2 2Ks there. Right, so our 3 10Ks. And goes up there. Okay, so there we go, get those in place. And we can solder those up. There we go. Ooh, a couple of those haven't quite gone right. Let's do those again. There we go. Let's got them done. Right, that's got them done. Now, I've just noticed I think I've made a mistake. I know it's highly unusual for me to make a mistake, but I think I've made a mistake. This diode is wrong here. I think they've given you 8 in case you drop one or something to go here, but that is wrong. There is actually another diode here, which it's very difficult to read, but I think that should actually go here where the power comes in. So I need to desolder that one and change it over. So let's do that now. So I should be able to just gently pull that out now. There we go. So that's the diode out, and then we'll put the correct diode in, which I think is this one. Okay, let's just solder that one up now. Right, okay. So let's carry on with the resistors. So we've got the 2K resistors go here. like so. Okay, next thing we're going to do are the capacitors. So I'm going to just move the board around. Right, so we've got two capacitors to do. First of all, we've got this one here, which has got a long leg and a short leg, and we've also got markings for the negative or the ground on here, which goes to the shaded side of the pattern which is just there. It's also got plus on the board, so we need to make sure that the long leg goes to the plus, short leg goes to the negative, which is just there. And we have another capacitor which is next to it, just there. Put that in there. It doesn't matter which way around that one goes, and we can just quickly solder that one up. Okay, that's that one done. While we're here, we might as well put the variable resistor in place. So this has got 3 legs on it. It just pops into place there, and that, because those legs are slightly springy, holds it in place for us. There, that's got that one done. Now, in the kit of parts that we got with this circuit, we got 2 ICs, the timer and the counter, which are these 2, but we didn't get a IC holder. Now, I prefer to use these IC holders rather than soldering the ICs directly on the board. Make sure, by the way, that the cutout just here lines up with the cutout on the board as well. So I got this holder out of my box of spares, so I'm going to put that on there. Bludge of blue tack. Just a splodge of solder on that pin and a splodge of solder on that pin. Take the blue tack off. Just make sure that it is in fact flat, which it is. So then we can solder the pins up. But before we solder those up, let's just get the other one in place. There we go. Same with this one. Blue tack to hold it in place, and then a couple of splodges of solder. Okay, so it's not quite sat on the board there, look. It has in fact moved a little bit, so what we'll do, just hold it underneath our finger. Right, let's hold it underneath our finger, warm the solder up and push at the same time. I don't know if you heard that, but I just clicked into place. Like that. While I'm here, I'll just do the same with the other one, although the other one I think is actually flat. So yeah, there we go. So another check, yep, there we go. We can see that's actually sitting nicely now. So all we need to do now is to solder the legs up. Right, I've turned the board round now, and what we're going to do now is just put these end or edge connectors on. So these are the connectors. I think they're all the same. So quick look. Yeah, they're the same. That's the same. So there's 3 of those. Yeah, 4 of those. So they're all the same. So we've got 2 to go here, 3 to go here. 1, 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is hold them in place while we drop a bit of solder on them. Okay, so that's that one held in place. That's that one held in place. Okay, the legs on that one seemed a bit thicker, but that's okay. So we'll solder up the other legs now. And then we can go back and properly solder the first ones. There we go. That's those 3 done, and then we've got the other one down here, the other side. There we go. Okay, same thing, that just holds it in place. Add some more solder to the other leg. There we go, and then we can do that one properly. There we go. Okay, so that is all the circuit board done. Right, the last thing we need to do then is to put the actual sices in the holders. Now I just noticed that this leg is slightly bent, so let's just straighten that one up there. And if you look at the legs here, they're all a bit bent, so let's get our leg straight now. Okay, that's nicely straightened the legs up. Again, we've got a cutout here, and that lines up with a cutout on there on the IC holder. So let's get that one in now. There we go. nicely pushes in, and we'll do the same thing with this. Let's just check this one. So again, we've got slightly bent legs there, so let's pop it in here. And then the cutout goes to the cutout on here. Okay, it's not quite lining up, so what we do is need to do a little trick, what's called a desk roll trick. So it's going to slightly bend it over, and we'll try that again. Because remember, never need to force these. Now they're going to go or they're not. There we go, and that's just popped in nicely. There we go. So that's got the two ICs actually on the board now. Right, next thing we need to do is to look at these. So we've got red, white and green. They're all the same by the looks of things. I'll just open one. So these are the whites, the white ones. We have a circuit board. Let's have a quick look at that. So that's the back of it. So we've got all the LEDs go on here, and we've also got one resistor and the connection. So there's all the LEDs, there's a connection, and there's the resistor. Right, so we've got it mounted. This is our little LED. We've got a long leg and a short leg. Long leg is positive, short leg is negative, and as you can see on the circuit board, all the positive are marked on here. So we just make sure that the long leg goes to the positive side, like so. Right, okay, so you've just seen me build this up. One thing I noticed, and you may have seen me just playing about with this, is that on the main circuit board I put it so the the cutout was on the outside here. It's got the positive on the right, on the left, sorry, there and there. But on this one, because of the way the holes were, I couldn't do it, so that was pointing out. That had to be pointed in because of where the holes were on the circuit board with positive there. So we'll just have to double check when we plug this in, just to make sure that the plus and minus are actually matched up correctly with the main circuit board. If not, we're going to have to swap one of these boards around. We can have a look at that later. So that's the white one done. We might be able to test that actually. Right, just as I suspected, this is the plug that goes into it, which goes in that way because of the cutout. But if you look, the black cable and the red cable are the opposite way around to what the circuit board says. So we're going to have to turn that round or have it in a different place. Because if I turn it round, it's too close to the LEDs to actually work. So if I turn that round and try and put that in, that's too close to that LED, so that's not going to fit. And I can't put it that way around because I won't be able to solder it up. So I think on this I'm going to have to just solder the wires straight in rather than using that. I wonder if that's what you're supposed to do, because the wires have only got plugs on one side. Okay, perhaps I might have got that wrong. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to set up a little bit of a test here. I've got my bench power supply 2.6 volts, and we're going to test this circuit board. So I'm going to turn the bench lights off to make it a little bit easier. Hopefully we should be able to see this all right. So what I'm going to do is just put the cables either side of the LED, and as you can see it's lit up now. I know this is negative this side, because if you look at where the wire goes onto the circuit board, so it goes on this pin here, follow it round, it goes down there, and then the red side or the plus side comes here, so it goes through the resistor which is there and then powers this side. So this side of the LEDs is plus and this side of the LEDs is negative. We should be able to test each one in turn, and you should be able to see them lighting up. You can actually see it through the circuit board itself. And that way we can check to make sure that not only the LEDs are working, but I've got them the right way around as well. And the last row. There we go. So that's all the LEDs tested and working. So that's great. So let's go. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to build these other kits up. So that one and that one, this is the red and the green. You've seen how it's done, so I won't film it. So catch me in a minute when I've got them done. Right, I've now done all these little circuit boards, and I've tested them the same as I showed you. I did have a couple of dead LEDs. There's one red one here which is dead, and one green one here which is also dead, so I had to desolder those and replace them, but luckily there's extra ones in the bag. There's one of each and I've got one of the white ones left, but testing that was okay, so I've now got a full test on that okay and a full test on that okay. So we're now ready to power up and see if this works. So let's just move all this lot to one side. Don't need all that. Okay, so on the circuit board, it's got L, R and something else that I can't read, just a minute, M. So I've no idea what that's supposed to be, so I'm going to put them on. So I'm going to put the green one on here. Just zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. So that goes on there. I'll stick the red one on the R, that's the only one I recognise, and the white one on here as well. So we'll just double check. Yep, so we've got a plus on the circuit board this side, which is connected to the red, so that's okay. The red is on the other circuit boards there, so that's making sure they're all lined up, which they are. Good. Okay, so we'll get our cable. And plug that in. There we go. Switch our bench power supply on, and I'll just set that for 12 volts. Okay, so I've got it at 11.5 at the moment, so that's okay. That's fine. Right. What are we doing? Okay, right. I'll turn my bench lights off. Here we go. Okay, so that's working all right. Let me just change this little variable resistor on here. Okay, so we can see what's going on. So it's flashing the white one twice, the red one twice, and then all of them together. I won't exactly call that a strobe, but at least it's doing something. Turn that back up again, let's see what happens. Yeah, it does strobe quite fast. Yep, I think we can call that a win. I think that's working okay. So, thumbs up for a change. Hope you've enjoyed watching this, and catch me again soon. And if you like what I do, please subscribe to the channel. See you again soon.